good day, everyone. Because, of course, I can't say good evening or good morning because today we have our guest right from United States of America. So, which is going to be really early morning for them and for all of us who are there in APAC. So, it's an evening time for us. So, please, I think this is the perfect time to get your choice of beverage. Get your tea, coffee, juice, whatever you feel like, because, of course, it's going to be an interesting conversation on our beloved topic of artificial intelligence. I would shy by mentioning artificial right now because, of course, the conversation which we are going to take today is going to be artificial or assisted. What word we should be using when we are defining AI. So yes, I'm Shikha, head of marketing at Geo. I'm going to be the moderator for today's session, and this is, to be honest, this is the first session not for Eventful Bites, but for Ask Me Anything series. And I'm really excited to have Usman Sheikh, the founder and CEO of XIQ. And prior to founding XIQ, Usman served in several vice president roles with global responsibility at SAP, including sales enablement and digital commerce. He's a lecturer at leading US business schools on how AI is transforming B2B sales. Welcome, Usman, to our show.
Thank you, Shika, and great to be here.
Yep. So before you can say, jump into the questions, of course, revolving all around AI. Usman, do you want to share about XIQ, what does the company does, and definitely the interesting product? Because I'm gonna hold my conversation about that because I have seen how the product functions. But we would really love to hear from you before we delve deeper into the subject of AI.
Yes, so thank you so much, and good day to everyone on the podcast as well. So XIQ is a AI-based, personality-driven sales and marketing platform. So what does that mean? So we use AI to predict the personality type of your prospect and your clients, and we use that as a way of being able to do sales and marketing. It's a single platform. It's hosted in the cloud and the company itself is based out of the Silicon Valley. So I am in this time in the morning based out of the San Francisco Bay Area. And our genesis is really focused on B2B. That's what our DNA is. As Shika mentioned earlier, I worked many years at SAP in different roles, and I identified that there were several problems in B2B that B2B sales and marketers encountered. And the idea behind XIQ was to be able to look at what are the best practices that the top 5% of salespeople are actually utilizing. A couple of things come out. They are intimately familiar with who their audience, who they're selling to, and what their preferences are, how they like to be communicated. They're also extremely well prepared in terms of what's happening in the industry, what's happening with the client, and they're really sources of knowledge. So that to the extent that when they go out to sell, they don't appear as salespeople, but more as value-added partners, sharing knowledge, wisdom of experiences. So the idea came to my head in terms of like, what do we need to do to be able to capture this, put it into one kind of platform so we could make it available to the 95% of the organization that struggles to achieve the goals that the top 5% can relatively easily do. And that's really where the vision for XIQ came. And today we use AI. I'm not going to say what the A stands for. I use the term augmented as well. We're going to talk about assisted versus artificial. We use AI to tap into behavioral science. So behavioral science is psychology. It's existed for over 100 years to be able to predict how people make decisions. What are their preferences? And so picking up digital breadcrumbs that people leave behind. We're now living in the digital era. We leave a lot of digital breadcrumbs in the public domain. XIQ can analyze those publicly available digital breadcrumbs and predict the personality type of over 2 billion people. And we use this at different stages of the customer engagement lifecycle. So from whether you're prospecting, whether you're making your initial phone call, sales call, emails, campaigns, marketing campaigns, outreach, all of these can be highly personalized using our platform. And most recently, Shika, we've just introduced ChatGPT. We're going to talk about that as well. And now we can combine those personality elements and ChatGPT's large language model to be able to write these highly personable emails, something that good salespeople used to take hours to do because you have to think a lot, in less than 10 seconds. So that's where we are in a quick nutshell as to what was the vision and where we are today with XIQ.
Yep, I think thank you, Usman. It's been really great. And of course, while you were explaining the product and what XIQ deals with, or what the entire team has developed, I was just picking up those parts wherein this is how the product is going to assist the different teams, and of course how they're going to enable them in the different life cycle. This entire lead life cycle which we talk about. Of course, I'm not going to go towards that, but then, as I said, that thanks a lot for explaining the vision and the core of the product, what XIQ has to offer. So I think let's deep dive into AI, because of course everybody would be waiting with bated breath that what all Usman has to share today. So going with my first question, Usman, that insights, user experience, and process improvement, they are the three ways artificial in quotes intelligence can benefit customer service organizations, according to Gartner report. Now, service and support leaders should understand these three benefits in order to thoroughly develop and track the right metrics for evaluating their solutions' effectiveness and prove business cases for further investment. Do you agree? And how are you using this integral part of customer success, customer enablement in this particular entire, you can say, landscape of AI?
Yeah, so I 110% agree with that statement. So, AI collecting insights. So, one of the unique insights that, for example, our platform develops is the ability to, as I mentioned earlier, analyze these digital breadcrumbs and predict the personality type. This is very, very unique. Up until now, we have not had the advantage of being able to understand or look into a person's mind to see what is the machinery and what is the behavior mechanism that that drives people's decision making, right? So we have kind of created a new paradigm by opening up this capability using proven behavioral science to help sellers, client enablement people, client success managers understand their prospects so they can better and custom tailor their solutions and their responses to that. So insights are absolutely very, very important, and AI gives us a unique opportunity to find these unique insights. Now, these come in particularly handy because today we are in a very virtual space. Today, most of the selling is not happening in person. When we were in person, we could take the person out for a golf game, have lunch, go to their office, look around, understand the body language. There were a lot of different physical signals that were present for us to be able to understand the person that we would be doing business with. But today, we have multiple people in the decision-making cycle. We cannot usually meet them in person. So having tools like XIQ and the insights that it provides for us to be able to look at and understand how these people are going to make decisions, where they will stack up as potentially coaches, as blockers, or as doers in our sales cycle is super important. So insights, and then insights about companies, right? What is their SWOT, strength, weakness, opportunity, threat? What are their main points, pain points? And all of this comes together and is very easily and readily available as a result of AI. So insights, very important today and a very key driver. Second, you mentioned user experience. User experience is paramount. What good is having the best information if you can't access it in an easy and readily and easily available manner? So user experience has to be easy, it has to be familiar. And what we decided when we were building XIQ was to use what we classified as a consumer grade user experience to deliver complex business solutions, right? And what I mean by a consumer grade is something we're very familiar with. Facebook, LinkedIn, these are experiences billions of people utilize today. And so we wanted to stay in an environment and make it colorful, make it really interactive so that it felt to people that they were not really working, but they were engaging in a social activity, if you may. But in the meantime, the information they were consuming was very critical to their business needs. It was helping them understand, as I said, the buyer, their prospective companies, identify alerts, understand the financial, the strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. And lastly, you've got to put it into the process. If it doesn't become part of your daily cycle, again, that's a big impediment. So, what we've done is we've built these gamification capabilities within XIQ so people can see how other team members are performing and using the tool. And that little gamification, that little um, competitiveness that comes, especially if you're in sales and marketing, you're naturally competitive. That comes along, that helps you drive usage, the user experience. And then the easy to understand and utilize user experience, of course, helps drive adoption. And in the meanwhile, what are we doing? We're consuming business information and insights. So to answer your question, fully agree. And I think that's exactly the direction anybody that is going to be building solutions or tools using AI should be looking at. What are the unique insights I can bring about? How does the user experience work? And how does it fit into my daily process?
Yep, I think bang on, Usman, because of course these are what forms the crux and the core. And of course, you really highlighted well when we are talking about the UX, because we should not be building up. Of course, when we talk about AI, when we talk about the user experience, sometimes it's misread, sometimes it's not understood properly that UX has to be easy and customer friendly. It should not be that you are something gonna achieve, on the top which only you understand and the customers are not able to understand and make you can head or tail about it. And then you also rightly touched about the consistency pattern as well, which I really agree, because of course when you talk about the consistency and how you have enabled that with gamification, I think that's again a very interesting point. So yep, I think moving on to my next question, Usman, that while many service leaders jump to the cost saving potential of AI, one of AI's key benefit is in its ability to obtain insights and predictions, which you rightly said about that, right? Now, insight generation allows organization, to move beyond cutting costs to generating value. And organizations can use these insights to guide agent and application decisions, ensuring customers receive the best service experience possible. So your solution score is obtaining insights. So how are you fitting this in the entire product workflow?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, look, at the end of the day, we are living in the, well, I was going to say information age, but we're beyond the information age. We are in the AI age. And I am carefully making sure I don't give away what A stands for. But we're living in this age, and we're burdened with a lot of information. So, for example, in the sales process, especially in the business to business B2B sales process, there's a lot of data available about people, about companies, about finances, about competition, and salespeople struggle to be able to digest, analyze this information, collect this information even. So, what that does is it causes a lot of stress on them. So they're always behind this cycle of collecting information, staying ahead of the news cycle, being able to use that in a value-added way to be able to provide some insightful recommendations to their clients, right? So AI can come in and really, really help you with this. And what we've seen is that beyond cost savings, right? The ability to gain that upper hand in a discussion where I can now be really providing my prospects and my clients, working with them more like a partner, where I can share information of what's happening within an industry. This could be innovations, this could be news about mergers and acquisitions, these could be changes at the management level, these could be new product introductions. But if I am the person that's taking that information first and foremost to my clients and prospects, they view me as a value added partner, right? And so, right there, the relationship dimension changes. The dynamics of the relationship changes from somebody who's selling something to you versus somebody who is providing you information, value added information. And a very major byproduct of this is the fact that having all this information at your fingertips readily available, it starts reducing the stress. It starts reducing the workflow and the pressure that's on these sales guys that are always struggling to stay ahead. Now it's coming to them. It's proactively available to them. They can use it. And if you've been in sales for the last decade, 2 decades, you know that every Sunday night salespeople get really, I would say almost depressed because they have to go fill in their CRM pipelines. They have to get ready for that sales meeting on the morning. They're going to be questioned by their sales leaders about what have they done, how have they outreached, and again, maybe the sales leaders are looking at the wrong metrics to measure these salespeople. But now, with all this information, they can actually start focusing. And that's another big topic, right? That today there are so many solutions, Shika, in the B2B sales equations. I was just looking at the independent software vendor chart yesterday that was published, and there are over 11,000 solutions today available to marketing people. They have a higher budget than that of the CIO in companies. The CMO's budget on technology is higher than that of the CIO. Think about that for a second, right? So the marketing people and the sales people are now investing in getting these solutions connected and integrated versus being able to talk about marketing, about selling. And so and salespeople, poor people, they struggle. I've got 10 solutions. I have to go, coming back to your UX point, I have to learn 10 different UXs, right? I will end up using about 10% of any one of those solutions. And that is a very big loss and leakage and depreciation of time and my focus. So having it all in one place, in one platform, readily available, proactively driven, right, helps me become value added. It reduces the stress of me having to worry about learning 10 solutions. It reduces how am I going to go find this information. And 9 out of 10 times people don't find information. And that's why, if you look at the leakage rate in B2B sales, 84% of sales qualified leads do not become deals. 84%, that's a very significant loss of marketing effort that is not becoming an opportunity and a deal. And the reason for that is because sales guys are not properly equipped, ready in time to respond to their prospects and their needs. And when that starts happening, they're behind the cycle, stress goes up, profitability goes down, I can't meet my quota, and I start hating my job. And so it's a series of very many cascading events that lead that we think that AI is, by being proactive and getting these insight, goes beyond the cost saving measures into actually improving the well-being of your sales and marketing force.
Yep, I think again a lot of food for thought, Usman, and of course I have my notes as well because definitely on some of the things I think we really need to have a part two as well of this discussion. But yeah, I think you can say collating the aspects which you provided. One was definitely when you said that you're not selling something, you are providing a valuable information, which is very important considering how the martech space is exploding. In fact, you rightly said that even when I was also looking at the graph which just got released yesterday, it's I think crazy is a very small word when we are looking at that particular one. Is you get overwhelmed that, oh my god, there is so much of technology which is available. But on the other hand, I think it also brings that kind of thing that if I'm picking up this particular technology stack, will that be good for my business? Or probably is this AI driven tool more better than the other one? Am I missing something? So the FOMO, I think, is always at the back of the mind, either when we are talking with the sales or marketer. And then when you also talked about the I think again astronomical and very disturbing fact when you said that 84% of the SQLs are not getting converted into a deal. So of course, when we are looking at the wasted, or I would say the efforts which the entire team is bringing, whether it's sales, marketing, inbound team, and all the other operational teams as well, I think this is astronomical. We should, it's not only the responsibility, I think, of the leaders, but I think it also is the responsibility of the people who are actually doing that how they can remove that and how they can actually prevent the leakage. So again, bringing back that how artificial can become the assisted and how we can actually take advantage of it, and then we can look at these kind of disturbing figures. so that when we are going back to our RevOps, or we are going back to our CRO and CFO, and we are very confidently saying that, hey, we did all these things to improve the statistics, which were really bleeding red last time. So yes. Okay, so moving on to our next question, Usman. So of course, you talked in length and in a very deeply manner when we talked about how AI is at the core when we are talking about different life cycles or at different team size. But then, what are your views on artificial intelligence? Taking the root and becoming assisted intelligence. I know you did mention that you read A as the augmented intelligence when we talk about AI. So, how would you weigh that, the artificial versus assisted versus augmented? So, I would really like to have your thoughts about on this particular angle.
So I believe there is nothing artificial about the A in the AI today, especially the way we use it, right? We collect public data, we analyze it using proven algorithms in behavioral science, in business when we do the SWOT analysis, for example. So there's nothing artificial about it. And having said that, Shika, there's a lot of trepidation in the market. People are spreading a lot of rumors and kind of misdemeanors about what is the role of AI, how it will replace humans, and it's not at that level right now. It's an assisted level. It's there to assist us, and it will always be there to assist us because humans can think beyond, right? Instead of me performing menial tasks in doing research, going on LinkedIn and looking at people, going on the internet, searching through Google or Bing now, and then sitting back and trying to second guess and put a lot of guesswork into crafting emails or communications, right? All of that can be removed with this assisted intelligence idea. Because, for example, XIQ, right? Before XIQ, salespeople or marketing people spend a lot of time in thinking about who is the person they're going to be talking to, understand their persona, try to put themselves into their shoes, quite unsuccessfully, then crafting an email. And most of people in sales and marketing are not English majors, right? So right there's a language impediment that comes on top of trying to understand, who you're communicating to. And it took a long time, anyway from a couple of hours to a day to write a good, decent quality email. And that was also hit and go. And that was for one person. And then, your boss and your, sales leaders are asking you to do so much outreach, send 1,000 emails a week, what have you, personalized to everybody. You can't do that. So the cookie cutter approach comes in. And I'm sure you've received a lot of these emails. I received a lot of these emails that are, hey, did you look at my email from last week, or did you look at my email from 2 weeks? And that just turns people off, right? It's like you haven't bothered to invest time in understanding and personalizing. So that was a big concern. So today with XIQ, for example, and now with our integration in Chat GPT, we can pick up the user, the person who's using our platform comes in, puts input. I want to write about my solution, but I wanted to address the pain points of my client, right? So identify three key pain points of my clients where my solution will be able to address it, and then convert that into a value proposition and even return on investment numbers. That's a huge task for anyone, let alone a salesperson. But now this task, using XIQ and ChatGPT, we can perform that in 10 seconds, right? Think about that, right? And we can perform that for every individual that of every one of those 1,000 individuals that you need to reach out to. One account today, according to Gartner, you cited Gartner earlier, Gartner is saying that in one B2B account, there's an average of 12 decision makers. Our experience has been much more than 12 people that you have to influence. And just think about it, there's the user set, there's the people in compliance, there's the people in IT, there's the people in legal, there's the people in procurement, there's the people in finance. You got to go through all of these different gates today to get to close the deal. So you need to be able to personalize and write a message and appeal to, as Gartner says, about 12 people in a particular company. Now imagine writing 12 highly personalized emails and then doing that for a whole number of different prospects and clients. It's an impossible task. So I will revert back to my cookie cutter approach, take one template, repeat it, dear first name, yada, 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 everything else in there, and then send it. And that's where my 84% leakage starts, right? Now, XIQ can pick up the personality traits. It has the corpus or the database for companies where it can go and fetch the latest, greatest information. What are their pain points? What are their strengths? What are the opportunities, threat? So it can craft a particular message for them. It knows your solution. And using ChatGPT, you can bring this together using a large language model and craft it as if an English major had actually written that email, right? And in 10 seconds, right? And then you can perform that for every individual in your pipeline. This is a major game changer. So this is what we have incorporated into our cycle, and we see this as being able to assist sales and marketing people greatly, right? So assisted intelligence all the way.
Yep, I think you really explained it yeah, in the most, I think, perfect manner, Usman. And then you also rightly said that how the wrong perception is going out into the market and you can say all the wrong things being attached to the word artificial. I think if we are changing the approach and if we are looking that in a more assisted, more like our colleague, or more like our virtual colleague, who is going to help us out in stopping all those leakages and making us a better, I think, revenue marketers or revenue professionals. I think everyone in the C-suite, or I would say everyone in the organization, are going to be happy because the figures are always going to be on the upward trend, right? So we are always going to have a green green Excel tables, right? So nothing's going to bleed red over there. Okay, I think that brings us session, Usman. But as I said that because this is Ask Me Anything, I do have two questions with me from our attendees. We'll see that if we are able to address both of them. But let me take the first one, Usman. And the first one reads that when I see that, so it's more towards the category design aspect, which is being, you can say, talked a lot by Christopher Lockett. And then he talks a lot about this particular subject in his newsletter as well. So he mentioned that when we talk about native analogs and when we talk about native digitals, and then we bring in the concept of AI. It doesn't matter we are talking about augmented or assisted. Do you think they can work together? Because there is always this kind of debate, right? Because in the team, you will never have all the native digitals. There will always be gonna be a combination of native analogs and native digitals. So what is your thought on that, Usman?
So I'm not very familiar with his work, and I'm not very familiar with the concept of native analog and native digital, but I would imagine that these are referring to what is on my device. Is that would maybe you can help me understand what that really means?
Yeah, sure, Usman. So you can say when we are talking about native analogs and native digital, it means that native analogs are the people who are not so digitally savvy, and these are the guys, or you can say this is that particular sect who are more towards the non-digital aspects, and native digitals are the one who have, you can say, lived, breathed, and everything is digital for them. So they are more like, you can say, Gen Z or millennials, or in fact our children as well, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, so I get it. I get it. So thank you for explaining that. So yeah, I think that the analog people have they've got to have some unique skill sets to exist in this world. We've got, as I said, we're immersed in oceans of data, right? You've got to be able to process that. So everybody, creative people can find ways of surviving and doing well. But majority of the world, they want to accept, all the information that's available to them digitally. And so can AI bridge the gap between them? I believe so. And I think that the analog people have to realize that AI as an assisted intelligence can greatly help their creativity a lot, right? So obviously the native digitals, the digital people that are already digitally driven will accept it and they will go much further because I already see we both see this, right? The next generation of these young generation, as you were talking about, they're very savvy. They know how to be on virtual environments and how to connect with people in digital landscapes and so on. It's the people who are the native analogs, as you refer to them, those are the people that will start struggling. And they're the ones actually, unfortunately, spreading a lot of rumors from their perspective today that, for example, AI is going to produce subpar content. And because companies have this behavioral mindset that you're going to send out thousands of email, there'll be thousands of junk subpar emails going. I totally disagree with that, right? Because when you have high quality emails going, you'll have high quality opportunities that will start getting created. And therefore, your workforce will have a 30 to 50% higher production capacity. And when that production capacity comes around, you know, even if it's 84% loss, there's so many new deals I can handle, right? So that now I don't need to send out thousands of garbage emails to bring back information because I simply don't have the bandwidth anymore to do so, right? So I think these native analogs need to start accepting the reality of the times, I think.
Yep, and I think it's always about going with the flow, and then of course seeing that in whatever ecosystem you are, what are the demands of that particular ecosystem? Because either you can be in the cave, or you can move out of the cave and see that like the truths, right? So you need to be like that. So either you adapt or you vanish, and I think it's also about one of the nature's theory as well, survival of the fittest. So yes. So yep, Usman. Before we log off, we have one last question. I think we are just 5 minutes over, but I really see that it's worth taking up that question. So the question from the audience is that if AI is generating personalized emails and everyone is using the same tool, wouldn't it become monotonous and sound like spam for the targeting audience? How can we handle that? And any suggestions if you would have, you can say, experimented your team? Or I know that XIQ has got an amazing product. So any combinations of that, and any live case studies or use case that you have for this particular situation?
Yeah, exactly. So that's exactly the question that I was referring to in my previous question, that there's a lot of rumor mongering going around that it'll become monotonous, everybody will use the same thing. Absolutely not. If anybody has used Chat GPT today and you go and ask it a question, write this or do that, and you hit regenerate, right? The next response is quite different. The beauty of this tool set today is that it is referring to a huge corpus. On the one hand, by corpus, I mean information it can get access to. Chat GPT alone has cataloged the internet till September 2021. And for example, when we add on or augment it with XIQ, we have up to the minute information on companies. So that's one element, right? So I have a lot of space to go in and find information, nuggets of uniqueness that I can use to engage clients. So the boredom aspect is not really that worrisome at this point. Secondly, we have the personality aspects. All of us have different fingerprints. XIQ today identifies at least 180 different personality types within itself. So, and nuances to that, like how do people like to be communicated? I want narratives. I want data points. I want to look at it from a bullet perspective. I want to be told a story. I want to have lots of information. So all of these, on the one hand, the personality traits, how I like to be communicated with. On the other hand, this huge corpus of information that I can go tap into. I think we can fairly say that we can be very unique. And then secondly, the abuse of these systems will go down, right? Because the results, why are systems getting abused? They're getting abused right now because the results are low, right? You're squeezing a lot, but you're only getting a few drops. When you squeeze less and you get the full uh, barrel of juice out of it, your capacity will reach a lot, you will reach your capacity a lot faster. And then, we have all the macro trends, attrition, etc., taking place. So I'm not that afraid. And that's what I like people to go and try out these tools, before you make these kind of accusations. I would say that, boredom is going to creep in. There's going to be a lot of similarity, the same fingerprint for everybody. I don't think so. I haven't seen that. We've been using it for months now, and it continuously, every single time, amazes me as to the uniqueness of what it can produce.
Yep, I think that's a very good note and a very amazing one, Usman, on which we should be ending our today's session. Trust me, I think it was an amazing conversation with you. And then most of the time when I was looking the clock behind you,
Sorry.
it was telling me that no, that's okay. But it was like the energy which you have at this particular hour, it doesn't resonate with the time which is showing your clock, because we started around 4:30 your time. I think really thank you for coming to our show and then discussing all about AI. As I said, that we definitely need to have part two because, of course, AI is never gonna go because, of course, this is the assisted intelligence with us. This is our extended hands, extended arms to do better. So thanks a lot for the first session of Ask Me Anything series, Usman. And with this, thank you to our audience. I know we went ahead around 9 minutes. We had scheduled for 30 minutes, but I'm sure you all enjoyed this conversation. And yes, this is not the end of Eventful Bites Ask Me Anything series. We do have a couple of more coming up in a different fashion, but wherein we'll be exploring the minds of all the thought leaders and veterans from the industry. So our upcoming session is going to come on 10th of May, wherein we're going to discuss all about product marketing with Hitendru from VMware. Then our next session is all about the buyer segments which CPaaS industry has to offer. This is going to be a very interesting one on 12th of May. And of course, we are going to talk about our favorite subject. Of course, all the B2B marketers, ABM, ABX, the strategy, and of course, how the rewards and the compensation, or you can say the loyalty programs, is driving ABM strategy, which is in fact, to be honest, whenever I was speaking to all the ABM leaders, they all were saying that this is a very interesting concept because how you are merging the rewards, the loyalty programs in the ABM strategy. Let's forget about I'm going to offer you a $10 gift card or a coffee coupon. Please do attend my demo. Sorry, this is not about that. This is going to be something more. So please stay tuned on 16th of May and then definitely do follow Geo Events page for our upcoming session. So this event was brought to you by Geo Events on Geo Events platform. I am going to say goodbye to all of you and good day to rest of you. And then Usman, have a very good day ahead. I'm sure it's going to be a long day for you today.
Thank you so much. And thanks to the audience. Really, really appreciate it. Love talking to you. Look forward to being back and talking about ABX. That's another favorite topic. So, and how AI can revolutionize ABX. So, thank you so much for having me.
Okay, thank you, Usman. Good day, everyone, and we'll be logging out.